Welcome back. Yes, this is your latest news regarding our favorite hit game, Honkai Star Rail, because Aha Instant Silver Wolf level 999 has been released, and I'm just gonna, from this point onwards, call her Silver 9. Because I will never say Silver Wolf level 999 every single time I do a video about her. So Silver 9 has officially been released. A new season of Elation begins with the limited time return of the invincible player Silver Wolf level 999. You become the biggest winner in the universe and unlock every cosmic achievement there is. So what is your next move? So what is your next move? Reach the peak of Elation? Boring. Since I've got the cartridge now, I make the rules. Aha, a special shout out to Silver 9 for winning Cosmic Con Collective Legendary Player Rank 1 and God of Script Destruction First Place. So yes, this is going to be the first unit coming out in version 4.2, which also means, ladies and gentlemen, the anniversary unit for HSR is officially released. Because when Ezreal is gonna come up with a 4-week banner, right afterward is always the start of the anniversary unit, just like 3.2, just like 2.2, and Silver 9 is gonna be no exception, which also means there is a extremely interesting likelihood where she is going to form up the Casteress of Elation, the Firefly of Super Break, the Silver 9 of whatever this thing is gonna be, right? So that is gonna be Silver Wolf 999. Now, today, we are just gonna talk about her art, her design, and a little bit of theory crafting from Mr. HSR Expert, because as someone with more than 20 years experience playing HSR, I believe I know everything that needs to be known without even looking at leaks and theoretical situations. So jumping right in for the design, the first thing that I've noticed, she also has a dragon. Yep. Is that not a dragon, chat? As in a Pollux, as in a Mimo sprite, as in if you were to take a look at the gear set option for this thingy right here, right? Wait, let me shout out to my man's Pride Wins. If you were to take a look at this option right here, right? What does this option say, by the way? Elation damage dealt by the wearer and Mimo sprite ignores 10% of the target's defense. Keyword Mimo sprites. So the only thing I am wondering is, why the hell does she also have a dragon up in there? Bro, there are no leaks, by the way. It's just purely from my keen observation on her kit, or rather on her splash art. Why would she have a dragon in the background? Oh, that's Aho from Genshin Impact. Yeah, like, I'm just saying, like, it's just very, very strange that she also has a dragon, very, very similar to Casteress, and with the Relic set having the Mimo sprite portion, which also ignores the target's defense. So that is gonna be our first clue as to how the design is gonna be looking like. And then zooming out a little bit more, you can kind of see this thingy right here. So, do you guys remember the original splash art? The original review for Silver Wolf 999 back then, she was using like a full-on, like she has full-on wings, right? Like freedom, right? Like Strike Freedom Gundam. For this particular point over here, she only reveals 3 of those full wings, which means that this portion is not even the actual demonstration of what she will look like in combat, unless they make it such that those things that they show us back then is different. But it doesn't have to be. Because when she wore the glasses, right? These are not the Gurren Lagann. Okay, wait, I think the better to go about this is to just take a look at the trailer itself. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So this is what she actually looks like in the trailer, right? So Bro transforms her hair, and then now she has 2 of the little twirly things. And then her glasses, they activate with the same Infinity Gauntlet, right? So she's basically wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, is the exact same gloves with the exact same shades, and then she swipes her credit card, right? She swipes her credit card, and then she activates the Gurren Lagann glasses, right? So this is what she will actually start to look like when she fully transforms, and then the wings sprout up to become literally like strike freedom, right? This is straight out just strike freedom. So if you come back over here, right, this means that whatever form that she has right here is not the final form. Right, this is not her final form. This is why you need a HSR expert such as myself to show you guys the intrinsic details of like what the splash art actually entails, right? So this is most likely her base form, right? This is her base form before she swipes her credit card and she activates Bankai, which also means I think she might have a similar direction with Firefly Sam's outfit, where she will activate this special look either from an ultimate, from a talent, from a global passive, right? Who knows, maybe we get another global passive, right? She will activate into this form to start dealing her real damage, and then all these other things is like before she activate those criteria so that she'll look a little bit more chill. So most likely I think SP Silverwolf or Silver Knight is gonna be having 2 different forms. And also I just noticed something. Hold up. So that's Elio. And then she swipes out with the cartridge. So the cartridge is the one that gave her the power and everything, right? She Bankais. She activates this. Okay. This thingy here. Oh, she has bigger thighs. Wait, really? I highly doubt that her thighs changed. I don't think her thighs got bigger, my man. Also, why is chat even looking at thighs when we are supposed to be focusing on the unit's kit itself? Why not? Why yes is the question. Why yes? Hold up. Jarvis and Hans. Okay, I think this might just be the splash art. I think this might just be the splash art. Check out her old splash art. Okay, you know, there's one good thing which you know how good that. Okay, if there's a single reason why you pull her Lycon, it's this. I think her thighs have always been around the same. It doesn't look to be too big of a difference over here. It's like almost the same actually. Yeah, see, this is why you need a HSR expert, right? I can show you exactly what to look out for, which is definitely not gonna be the thighs because our chat is getting a little bit too distracted. We're now gonna move back into the kit discussions for Silverwolf. So that is gonna be her wings, that is gonna be a transformation, and now we're gonna be talking about the Infinity Gauntlet. Yes. What the actual fuck is the Infinity Gauntlet right here? Because this is basically the Infinity Gauntlet. Is she Thanos? Is she Tony Stark? Is she the Hulk when Hulk put on the Infinity Gauntlet and went above the battle? Who knows at that point? I am Silverwolf. Okay, there is one thing to note over here though, which is, do you notice something with Elation? Do you know something with Elation? Does anyone in the chat notice something with Elation? If you guys don't know, then allow the HSR expert to enlighten y'all. Alright? Allow me Allow me, all right? Me. So chat, if you were to simply take a look at the Elation units, right? Do you guys notice something? Which is Sparxie is a fire elation. Guang is a physical elation. And now Silver 9 is an imaginary elation. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you guys get what I'm coming from? So like, so far, every single Elation unit that has been released, they are always gonna be of the different element. It's almost as if the entire Okay, I'ma need you to shut the fuck up. It's almost as if every single one of the Elation units, they're coming from different elements. Just like how when you use the AHA instance and you do your AHA damage, the actual text on the damage, right? The actual text on the damage is a little already made of rainbow. Do you guys remember? I'm not sure if you guys played this game of Honkai style, but if you were to scroll way back, I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of like an AHA damage somewhere. Right. As I was saying, notice how every single Elation unit in HSR, they always belong in a different element. So far we have fire, we have physical, and now Silver SP, our Silver 9, is gonna be imaginary. And which also coincides with the Rainbow team coming from AHA instance damage right here, because they are basically using every single goddamn element to make this Rainbow damage, right? Like AHA damage, there are no elements. It is just an AHA damage, right? And if you want to take a look into another way of looking at it, which means what we are left with is green, blue, purple. Chat, what's the last one? Green, blue, purple. Oh, there are two purples. All right, there are two, but okay, chat, what the hell do you even... Okay, violet, right, violet. So we are left with quantum, wind, lightning, ice. These are the last four elements from the imaginary Infinity Gauntlet to be collected, which also means if I were to be a guessing man, right? If I were to be a guessing man, whoever the drip marketing is for tomorrow, is it gonna be Evanescia? Is it gonna be Blade SP? Is it gonna be whoever it's gonna be? I'm willing to go on a limb and say they are most likely gonna be coming out to be of a different element. So it's not gonna be imaginary, it's not gonna be fire, and it's not gonna be physical, right? And on top of that, on top of the drip marketing tomorrow, there is still one more unit that has extremely strong relations with Elation as a whole, and that is none other than Mimemi. Alright, that is none other than Mimemi, because we still have not gotten an Elation path. So if you take a look into Mimemi right here, right, we have ice, we have harmony, we have fire, and we have physical. What does that show, guys? Do you guys notice something? Most of these elements have already been announced. Right? We have imaginary Silver 9, we have fire Sparxie, we have physical Guang, and now we already had a ice remembrance. Right? We already had an ice remembrance. So that means, by process of elimination, if I were to be a guessing man, EMC's element is most likely either going to be quantum or is going to be wind. Dude, are you guys not impressed? Like how your streamer connects all the dots together? And I think I'm almost absolutely on the ball, by the way. So it's pretty much just quantum and wind. That is pretty much it. So between alright, there's the lightning as well. Alright, there's like, okay, quantum wind lightning, right? Quantum wind lightning. Between quantum wind lightning, if you were to go back and see HSR's drip for this thingamabob, right? This face right here. This face right here. What does this show, guys? Actually, I have no idea what it shows. But in any case, I'm just gonna be guessing. EMC is gonna be quantum, wind, or lightning, whichever that is gonna be. But that will greatly depend on the element that is either Evanescia or Blade SP or whoever else. And then when they release EMC, I'm almost certain they're releasing EMC either by 4.2, like 99% 4.2. 1% 4.3, right? So if it's gonna be 4.2, it comes after the 5-star drip marketing. So whoever that is tomorrow, then Thursday we will know what EMC is gonna be like. So that is pretty much gonna be the elements involved for Silver Wolf. And then one last thing before I kind of wanna just theory craft a little bit on what she's gonna be doing. Her feet, as in her shoes, right? Her shoes. Now, if you take a look in this particular point right here, right? This particular point right here, you can notice that that is in fact sniffer. I have no idea where I was going with this, so I'm just gonna move on. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of our discussion with regards to Silver Wolf's appearance, right? Silver Wolf's elements are Silver Wolf's more or less a shallow designs, right? Now it is time for Mr. HSR to theory craft, right? Allow me to theory craft. We know for a fact Sparxie is Elation. We know for a fact Guang is Elation. And we also at this point know for a fact Silver Wolf, Silver 999, blah. She is going to be the anniversary unit of Honkai Star Rail. Right? This is gonna be the anniversary for version 4. Oh my god, HSR has been 3 years old? Yeah, 3 years old. But it's version 4, right? And usually what tends to happen for an anniversary main DPS is that they are gonna be a main DPS, right? Every single anniversary unit we have gotten so far has always been a main DPS, right? So because of that logic, unless they pull out a completely different like aha formula where she is not even a main DPS, she's gonna be a support or a sub DPS or fucking sustain, right? Who knows at that point? Unless that actually happens, I think it's pretty safe to assume you are gonna be building a team around Silver 9. I'm guessing, right? I'm guessing. So the reason why I want to have such high convictions as to why she's actually a main DPS is because at the end of the day, chat, the gacha audience, right? This is not just HSRX anymore. It's like business, Mr. Business, right? Mr. Finance, right? The gacha audience tends to pay way more attention for a DPS than a support or a sustain, right? You can literally just look at Sparxie banner sales compared to Guang. Alright? It is very, very obvious. Because most people will have more fun playing with a DPS. People don't want to pull for support or sustains because they're boring, right? They're not as fun, right? Because the DPS is where your gaming actually comes together and you make the team collectively work, right? The DPS is what you make that DPS shine. So because of that, usually I would say in order to drive the highest amount of sales as well as banner, she is most likely gonna be a main DPS. So if she is going to be a main DPS, then the elephant in the room to be addressed is pretty much going to be who the hell are her teammates. And at this point, nobody knows, right? Because they have basically changed the formula for the release schedule of units, right? If you guys saw my post over here, I had this Mr. HSR's expert analysis. Okay, that's not 6-7, but yeah. So this post right here, right? The thing with Silver 9 right now is that we don't know if she prefers punchlines or aha instance by herself. Maybe she wants both. Maybe she wants both, right? If she wants both aha instance and punchlines, then the only slot that we have left is pretty much gonna be a sustain. If she only wants one of either, which is either Sparxie or Guang, then we have a little bit more wriggle room to slot in a third being a sub DPS or support and the sustain slot is always gonna be there. I'm always gonna assume that in HSR, Da Wei will personally cast his spell like, oh my god, every single team in the world must have a sustain. Because that is the basis of team building for casual player base anyways, right? Everybody in the world wants to play for sustain. So I don't see this sustain slot going anywhere. So really, there are only 3 slots to kind of move around. You take away the main DPS, and you take away either Yao Guang or Sparxie. The only one left is like, okay, would it be a support, which let's just say, for example, gives a team-wide energy regeneration? Or would it be another Elation units, which, you know, just give you way more, either way more punch lines or way more aha-ises. So for example, if Silver 9 wants to have as much punch lines as humanly possible, right? She doesn't give a shit about highs. Then you can run her, plus Sparxie, plus a Elation unit that's yet to be released that gives you a shit ton of punch lines, and a sustain. On the flip side, if she's a DPS that cares way more about aha instance, then I can see her running herself, Yao Guang, a support that gives you way more aha instance as well. So you have 2 units at the same time generating aha instance, and then lastly, a sustain. Whichever case is gonna be, I think they can go about it in both ways. But personally, I feel like the way that they look at it, right? I have a slightly higher belief that Silver 9 will end up using both Yao Guang and Sparxie. And the reason why I say this is because if Elation was gonna be a patch, or rather if Plan Arcadia is gonna be a patch that lasts throughout the entire year, I can see them developing within Plan Arcadia cast for a longer time. But the thing is, it's not, right? We are going to IPC guys, right? We're gonna visit IPC, Topaz, Jade, Pearl, all that kind of badadu. So like, I think the timeline is just a lot shorter. And because the timeline is a lot shorter, there is a higher incentive to go ahead and complete your team building, right? Your lore within Plan Arcadia. And then they will set out a separate portion for IBC. So for example, Asheville is 4.1. Alright, and Asheville is kind of like, he doesn't really fit with the Elation flagship. So like, I would not be surprised if IPC just becomes a hunt-focused path. Right? That might be a possibility. Because why would a random bro out of nowhere come out as a hunt? Right? So, for those reasons, I tend to want to go for the fact that Silver Wolf most likely will use both Sparxie and Yao Guang, and then they're gonna release a sustain in the future, and whatever EMC does, right, whatever EMC does, that will help you determine if you should be putting Sparxie or Yao Guang, or both. Right? So like for example, if EMC's role replaces the sustain, right? Our first ever, or technically second ever sustain MC. Then you can just get both Sparxie and Yao Guang, get this EMC, and your team is done. Then in the future, if they're gonna release a premium version for EMC, which they definitely will, right? The premium version of RMC, the premium version, they always release a premium version of the MC anyways. But when that happens, you can decide if you want to replace this sustain slot and you keep your Sparxie and Yao Guang, right? If EMC is not a sustain, right? If she is a support, right? If she's a support, and she replaces either the role of Sparxie or Yao Guang, then it will be up to you to see if you want to fill in that remaining niche that you don't have. So if EMC replaces Yao Guang, you pull Sparxie. If EMC replaces Sparxie, you pull Yao Guang, whichever that is gonna be, right? So at that point, it is gonna be purely up to our guesses as to what that is gonna be, because we don't know what are leaks, right? Thank you, Uncle Pokke, bro. I have no idea what are leaks. These are purely just from my personal observations as the HSR expert, right? Thank you, we are getting EMC for free, absolutely. I don't know who else are we getting for free as a 5-star. Maybe we get Asheville for free. Who knows, right? So we'll see how the live stream is gonna be looking like, which is gonna be happening 3 days away from now. To kind of wrap up this video, this discussion, this is just day 1 of drip marketing. This entire week is actually really packed because today is day 1. Tomorrow, they're definitely going to release a second unit for 4.2. And I am almost certain they will be releasing the drip marketing for EMC. Right? So those are 3 drip marketing back to back. And then by the time that happens, Friday will be the live stream for HSR as well as Watering Waves. So looking for... Alright, and there's whatchamacall. Alright, there's a one piece of the puzzle that I kind of didn't say. One last thing. This is the final piece of the puzzle. All right, this is the final piece of the puzzle. Because right now, when we are thinking about Silver Wolf, Sparxie, Guang, the 4.2 patch, right? The 4.2 patch. I personally am extremely interested on how this is gonna be looking like. Nihilux, the person that drew the manga, the origin aha, right? The origin aha. So by the time that is gonna be coming out, we will see how this is gonna be looking. We're gonna come to the end of today's discussion. Hopefully this has been a pretty insightful, no leaks, healthy environment discussing what she might do. Word of the day is going to be big. Join Twitch, join you, join Discord, join. Use code POKE for 10% off gamer subs. All the best for a card. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye bye.